Welcome back, everyone. Ready to dive into some more fascinating historical mysteries.
Always up for a good deep dive.
Today, we're tackling something that really makes you think. Out-of-place artifacts.
OPARTs.
Yep. Objects found where they just shouldn't be, based on our current understanding of history.
Like finding a smartphone buried with a T-Rex fossil.
Exactly. It makes you question everything. And we've got 3 OPARTs lined up today, each one more mind-boggling than the last.
Let's hear.
First up, the genetic disc.
Oh, okay.
This thing was found in Colombia, and it's thought to be from around 500 BC, which is already pretty old.
Yeah.
But here's a kicker. It's made from leadite.
Leadite. That's super hard stone.
The one and only, usually found in the deep sea. So how did it end up in Colombia all those years ago?
Good question.
And get this, the disc is covered in engravings.
Engravings of what?
You're not going to believe this. Stages of human conception, embryonic development, even sperm and egg cells.
Wait, hold on. That kind of biological knowledge in 500 BC? No way.
I know, right? It's like someone had a microscope way back then.
It just doesn't add up.
So what are we to make of this? Did ancient cultures have medical knowledge that's been lost to time? Or is there something else going on here?
It's a real head-scratcher. On the one hand, you have these incredibly detailed depictions that suggest an understanding of biology way ahead of its time. But then you think about the tools they would have had back then.
Exactly. It's that clash of evidence that makes OPARTs so fascinating.
It forces us to re-examine what we think we know about the past.
Now, let's hop over to North America. This time, we're looking at the Nampa figurine, a tiny little human figure discovered during a well drilling in Idaho back in 1889.
Tiny how?
Just a couple of centimeters tall.
Wow.
But here's where it gets crazy. It was found almost 100 meters underground.
100 meters? That's gonna be deep.
And the layers of sediment around it suggest it could be millions of years old.
Well, hold on. Millions of years. That predates any accepted timeline for humans in North America.
I know. If that's true, we're looking at a major rewrite of history. But naturally, there's skepticism. Some think it's a hoax, or maybe the drilling process itself created the figure by chance.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Plus, the figurine was cleaned soon after it was found. So modern analysis that could confirm its age or composition is impossible.
So we're left with a lot of maybes.
Exactly. The Nampa figurine is a classic OPART dilemma. The possibility of overturning established knowledge versus the need for scientific proof.
It's a tough one.
Okay, ready for our last OPART.
Hit me with.
This time we're heading to South Africa to check out the Klerksdorp spheres.
Okay.
Picture this, spherical and disc-shaped objects found embedded in pyrophyllite rock, which is a type of metamorphic rock,
Okay.
estimated to be around 3 billion years old.
3 billion. Isn't that before complex life even existed on Earth?
You got it. And yet here we have these spheres ranging in size from a few centimeters to about 10 centimeters.
What are they made of?
Well, that's where things get interesting. They're not metal
Right.
or some unknown alloy, like some people claim.
Oh.
They're actually composed of minerals, like hematite and wollastonite, commonly found in geological formations. But here's the thing. Some of them have grooved lines etched around them.
Grooved lines, like someone carved them on purpose.
That's the million-dollar question. Some people say these grooves suggest intentional crafting, which would mean throwing out our entire understanding of intelligent life on Earth.
That's a pretty big claim.
But then there's the more down-to-earth explanation.
What's that?
Geologists say they're concretions, natural formations that can occur within sedimentary rock layers. Basically, Mother Nature playing a trick on us.
So are we talking super old natural wonders or evidence of an ancient civilization way beyond anything we've ever imagined?
That's the beauty of OPARTs. They keep us guessing.
Okay, so far we've looked at OPARTs that might rewrite the history of humans and life on Earth. But get ready for this one. It blurs the lines between history, science, and maybe even a little bit of folklore. The Betz mystery sphere.
Okay, now you've got my attention. What's so mysterious about this sphere, and where was it found?
Picture this. March 1974. The Betz family in Fort George Island, Florida. They're checking out damage from a brush fire when they stumble upon this weird metallic sphere.
A metallic sphere. Okay, what did it look like?
Totally smooth, made of stainless steel, about 20 centimeters across, weighed almost 10 kilograms.
So a pretty hefty metal ball. What did they think it was at first?
They figured maybe an old cannonball, you know. Florida's got history. So they took it home, put it on display like a cool little oddity.
But I'm guessing it wasn't just a simple cannonball, right?
Oh no, not at all. A few days later, their son, Terry, starts playing his guitar. And get this, the sphere seems to react to the music, like it's emitting a pulsing sound.
A metal sphere jamming along to the guitar.
Yeah.
That's a little freaky. Did anything else happen?
Buckle up, because it gets weirder. The family says the sphere started moving on its own, rolling around their house, stopping and starting, even changing direction, like it had a mind of its own.
A self-driving metal sphere. Sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie.
Right. And it gets even stranger. They claimed it reacted to their emotions too, like getting more active when they were upset.
Okay, that's just wild. So did any scientists or experts investigate?
You bet. The story blew up, made headlines. The Navy even took a look. They said it was probably a big ball bearing like the kind used in industrial pipelines. Later on, someone found another similar sphere, and it turned out to be part of a valve from a paper mill.
So, case closed. Just an industrial part.
That's what some folks concluded. But even if it looked like a common part, nobody could explain why it would move on its own or react to sound.
Yeah, that's the part that keeps me hooked. Were there any other theories?
Oh yeah. Some researchers thought maybe it was made of some super special kind of stainless steel with some element we don't know about, making it act so weird. Some even tossed around the idea that it could be alien tech.
An alien artifact. That definitely adds a whole other level of intrigue. But did anyone ever figure out what it really was or where it came from?
Sadly, no. It bounced around between different research groups and then poof, gone, vanished.
Disappeared. Wow, what a frustrating ending to such a strange story. We're left with this case of unexplained phenomena surrounding what might have been just a regular metal ball, but could also have been something way more incredible.
The Betz Mystery Sphere really reminds us that not everything can be explained away easily. Sometimes there are objects that just don't fit neatly into our categories, and those are the ones that really make you think.
Okay, so that was one wild ride. Now, while the Betz Mystery Sphere is missing in action, there's another object that's grabbed researchers' attention for its mind-blowing complexity and technology.
You're talking about the Antikythera mechanism, a device so advanced it's like it's from the future, even though it's ancient Greek.
Ancient Greek and technologically advanced. I'm all ears.
Imagine a device built sometime between the 2nd century BC and the 1st century BC, made entirely of bronze gears. It was basically a sophisticated astronomical computer housed in a wooden box.
An astronomical computer from over 2,000 years ago. That's incredible. What could it do?
It could track the movements of the sun, the moon, the planets. It could even predict eclipses, like seriously accurate predictions.
That level of precision and technology back then, it's mind-boggling. Where was this incredible device found?
In 1901, in a Roman shipwreck off the coast of Antikythera, a Greek island. The shipwreck itself is from the 1st century BC.
So this ancient high-tech gadget was sitting at the bottom of the sea for centuries.
And it's lucky they found it when they did. At first, it was just another lump of corroded bronze among a bunch of other artifacts.
It's wild to think something so important could be overlooked at first.
Yeah, it took a while for archaeologists to realize what they had. They started piecing together these gears and dials and realized they had stumbled upon something truly groundbreaking.
It makes you wonder what other incredible things are still hidden beneath the waves, just waiting to be discovered.
Absolutely. The Antikythera mechanism completely changed how we view ancient Greek technology. They were clearly capable of way more than we ever gave them credit for.
So we've got a mysterious sphere that vanished and an ancient astronomical computer. What's next on our OPART adventure?
Now we're headed to Baghdad, Iraq, where in 1936, archaeologists found a collection of objects that has puzzled people ever since, the Baghdad Battery.
A battery from ancient times. Now that's something I got to hear more about.
It's pretty simple, really. A clay jar, an iron rod, and a copper cylinder, all dating back to somewhere between 200 BC and 700 AD.
Okay, so how do we know it's a battery?
Well, some researchers think it could have been used to generate a small electric current, maybe for electroplating or even for some kind of ancient medical treatment.
Electroplating back then? That's fascinating. But is there proof it actually worked as a battery?
The jury's still out on that one. Some say it might have been a storage container for scrolls or something.
So maybe a fancy ancient Tupperware instead of a battery. I guess even if it wasn't generating electricity, it still shows us how clever those ancient folks were.
For sure. Whether it's a battery or a storage jar, it tells us they were resourceful and could create things for specific purposes.
Okay, ready for another trip? This time, we're going to ancient Egypt.
Always a good destination. What OPArt are we looking at there?
Have you heard of the D.A.R.K light?
Rings a bell. Something to do with carvings, right?
Exactly. Carvings found in the Hathor Temple at D.A.R.K. and they depict what some people believe are giant light bulbs, complete with filaments and wires.
Light bulbs in ancient Egypt. That's a bold claim.
No kidding. It has fueled speculation about ancient Egyptians having advanced electrical technology.
I can see why, but I'm guessing there are other interpretations.
Of course, Egyptologists have a few ideas. Some say the images are symbolic, representing lotus flowers or sacred plants. Others think they're connected to creation myths or the journey of the sun god Ra.
So maybe more symbolic than a literal depiction of a light bulb, but those details, the wires and filaments, those are what make people wonder.
It's like OPARTs hold up a mirror to our own curiosity. Do we see advanced technology, or do we see something else entirely?
And either way, those carvings offer a peek into the beliefs and potential knowledge of ancient Egypt.
Okay, for our next stop, we're going to the Indian subcontinent, a place brimming with history and ancient knowledge. We're going to check out the Iron Pillar of Delhi.
Ah, yes. The pillar that refuses to rust.
That's the one. It's over 7 meters tall, weighs over 6 tons, and dates back to the 4th century AD. But the crazy part is, it's almost completely rust-free.
It's pretty remarkable. Iron's known to rust pretty easily, especially after centuries out in the elements. So what's the secret to this pillar's longevity?
Scientists have found a special protective film on the surface, a mix of iron oxides, phosphates, and other stuff that acts like a natural shield against corrosion.
A naturally occurring rust-proof coating. That's pretty impressive. Sounds like those ancient Indian metallurgists knew a thing or two.
Right. But how did they do it on purpose? That part is still up for debate. Maybe it's the iron's composition, the forging techniques, or even the local climate.
Whatever the reason, the Iron Pillar of Delhi stands as a testament to the ingenuity of ancient metallurgists.
Absolutely. It shows us they were capable of manipulating iron in ways we're still trying to understand today. Now for our next OPART, we're heading to the desert, the Nazca lines of Peru,
Those giant geoglyphs carved into the earth.
the one and only. They're so massive you can only really appreciate them from the air. We're talking giant figures, animals, geometric patterns, some stretching for hundreds of meters.
It's mind-boggling to think about how they were created, and by who, and why.
Right. The Nazca culture, who lived in that region from around 200 BC to 600 AD, are credited with making them. But their true purpose, nobody knows for sure.
It's a real head-scratcher. We have these incredible artworks, but their meaning is lost to time.
And there are plenty of theories out there. Some say they were used for astronomical observations, like marking solstices or tracking stars. Others think they played a role in religious ceremonies, maybe processions or rituals to appease the gods.
Imagine ancient people walking those massive designs in the desert as part of their religious practice. It gives me chills just thinking about it.
The scale and complexity are just mind-blowing, a real testament to human creativity and dedication.
Absolutely. The Nazca lines show that primal urge humans have to express themselves, to connect with something bigger than themselves. The cosmos, the divine, the unknown. It's all there.
And for our final OPART today, we're time-traveling back to ancient Rome. We're going to examine something called Roman dodecahedra.
Roman dodecahedra. Those are new to me. Tell me more.
Picture this. You're excavating a Roman site, and you find this small, hollow object. It's made of bronze or stone, and it's shaped like a dodecahedron.
Okay, I can visualize that. A 12-sided figure. But what makes these dodecahedras so special?
What makes them special is that they've been found all over the Roman Empire, from Britain to Hungary, and they all date back to the Roman era. But get this. Nobody knows what they were used for.
So we've got these 12-sided objects popping up all over the place, but no clue what they were for. That's a pretty good mystery.
It is. There are tons of theories, of course.
Yeah.
Some think they were candlestick holders, dice, surveying tools.
Yeah. Candlestick holders or dice seems a bit basic for such a unique shape.
Right. Then there are more out-there theories. Astronomical calculators, religious artifacts, even some kind of lost ancient technology.
So these Roman dodecahedra could be anything from everyday objects to the keys to unlocking ancient secrets. That's amazing.
The best kind of mystery, right? They really highlight the power of the unknown and how much history still has to teach us. It's amazing, isn't it? How these objects, sometimes just small, simple things, can make us rethink everything we thought we knew about the past.
Yeah, it really shows how much we still haven't figured out about history. Like there are whole chapters missing, just waiting to be discovered.
Exactly. I mean, we've looked at things that seem impossible, technology that shouldn't exist for its time, artifacts that could rewrite the whole timeline of humanity.
OPARTs definitely stir things up. Some people see them as proof of, like super advanced ancient civilizations or aliens visiting Earth. Others say it's all just a big misunderstanding or natural stuff we don't get yet.
It's almost like they hold up a mirror to us, you know. Yeah. Do we want to believe in the extraordinary? Or do we stick with the safe, familiar explanations?
That's a good point. I think OPARTs force us to think outside the box, question what we've been told, and be open to different ways of seeing the past.
So, bottom line, are these OPArts just wild stories? Or could they actually hold clues to our past?
It's probably a bit of both. Some OPARTs might eventually be explained by science, but others, well, those might be the real game changers, the ones that shake up our understanding of history and human potential.
It's like piecing together a puzzle with some of the pieces missing. You try to make sense of it, weigh the evidence, figure out what's real and what's not. And sometimes the most exciting part is that the mystery remains unsolved.
Right, and that's what keeps us searching, keeps that sense of wonder alive, and makes us want to push the boundaries of what we know.
And what's so cool is how OPArts bring together all sorts of different areas of study. We've talked about archaeology, history, geology, even a little bit of physics and folklore today.
Totally. To really understand these OPARTs, you need to look them from all angles.
So for all our listeners out there who are fascinated by OPArts, what's the biggest thing they should take away from our discussion today?
I think the most important thing is to be both skeptical and open-minded. Question everything, look at the evidence, be willing to change your mind when new information comes up.
Basically, be curious and keep asking questions. That's how we make new discoveries and learn more about ourselves and the world around us.
You got it. History's full of surprises, and there's always something new to uncover, something that might change everything we thought we knew.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And to our listeners, a huge thanks for joining us on this OPArts adventure. Keep exploring, keep digging deeper, and maybe you'll stumble upon some amazing mysteries of your own.
Who knows what's out there just waiting to be found?